She satisfies you in 3 seconds, before you open your mouth, before you say your name, before you offer to buy her a drink or pull out a chair or deliver that rehearsed line you practiced in the mirror this morning. 3 seconds. That is all the time her brain needs to form a judgment about you that will shape every single interaction that follows. And the devastating part? You never even knew the evaluation was happening. Right now, as you hear this, you are probably thinking about what you said the last time you approached a woman, what joke you told, what topic you brought up, whether your conversation was interesting enough. None of that mattered, because she decided how she felt about you before you finished your first sentence. Today we are diving into the psychology of first impressions, what women notice in the first 5 minutes of meeting you, what her subconscious is scanning for while her conscious mind is smiling politely, and why most men are losing the game before they even know it has started. Let's begin with the science. In 1992, psychologists Nalini Ambady and Robert Rosenthal published a groundbreaking study at Harvard University on what they called thin slicing. Thin slicing is the brain's ability to make accurate judgments about a person based on extremely brief observations. We are talking about 2 to 3 seconds of exposure. Their research demonstrated that people could predict the effectiveness of a teacher, the trustworthiness of a stranger, and the competence of a professional based on silent video clips lasting less than 5 seconds. No words, no context, just raw nonverbal data processed at extraordinary speed by the subconscious mind. Now apply that finding to the moment you walk toward a woman for the first time. Before your brain has even formulated your opening words, her brain has already completed a full scan, and the results of that scan will color everything that comes after. If the scan reads confident, grounded, and safe, your words almost do not matter. She will interpret nearly anything you say favorably. But if the scan reads anxious, uncertain, or try hard, you could deliver the most brilliant sentence ever spoken, and it would land flat. The game is won or lost in silence. So what exactly is she scanning for in those first critical seconds? Let's break down the hierarchy. The first thing her subconscious registers is your posture and spatial presence. This is not about standing up straight because your mother told you to. This is about how much space you are willing to occupy in the world. Evolutionary psychologist Dr. David Givens has spent decades studying nonverbal courtship signals across cultures. His research shows that dominant but non-threatening spatial behavior is one of the most universally attractive male traits. This means standing with your feet roughly shoulder-width apart, keeping your shoulders open rather than rounded forward. Moving through space at a pace that suggests you are in no hurry to be anywhere other than exactly where you are. Men who compress themselves, who cross their arms, who tuck their elbows close to their body, who stand with their weight shifted to one side as if they are apologizing for existing, these men are communicating submission at a primal level, not through anything they are saying, through the geometry of their body. And her subconscious reads that geometry fluently. It is a language older than words, older than civilization, older than the human species itself, and she does not need to understand it consciously to respond to it viscerally. The second thing she evaluates is your eye contact pattern, not whether you make eye contact, how you make it. Research published in the Journal of Research and Personality found that the timing, duration, and steadiness of eye contact dramatically influenced perceived confidence and attractiveness. Men who held eye contact for approximately 3 to 4 seconds before naturally breaking away were rated significantly more attractive than men who either avoided eye contact entirely or stared without breaking. The psychology behind this is layered. Eye contact that is too brief signals fear. It says, "I am not comfortable being seen by you." Eye contact that never breaks signals aggression or social unawareness. But eye contact that holds, breathes, and then releases communicates something specific and powerful. I see you. I am not afraid of being seen. And I am choosing to look away not because I am nervous, but because I do not need to prove anything. There is an additional nuance here that almost nobody teaches. Where you break eye contact matters. Research on nonverbal communication suggests that looking down when breaking eye contact signals submission. Looking to the side signals neutrality. But looking slightly upward or maintaining a level gaze before slowly shifting focus signals quiet confidence. These are micro movements measured in fractions of a second, but her subconscious registers every one of them. The third element she scans is one we covered in detail in a previous video, but it bears repeating because of how critical it is in first impression contexts: your voice. In the first 5 minutes, she is not listening to what you are saying. She is listening to how your voice moves, the tempo, the resonance, the pauses. Whether you rush through sentences like a man who is afraid his time is about to be revoked, or whether you speak like a man who knows the room will wait for him. A study from the University of Aberdeen found that women rated men with lower vocal pitch and slower speaking tempo as significantly more attractive for long-term relationships. But the researchers noted something crucial. It was not simply the pitch itself that mattered. It was what the pitch communicated about the speaker's internal state. A low, calm voice signals low cortisol and high testosterone. It signals a nervous system that is not in fight or flight mode. It tells her body, before her mind can even process it, that this man is not threatened by this moment. And a man who is not threatened by the moment is a man who might be able to protect her within it. The fourth scanning layer is grooming and self-presentation. And this is where most men either underperform dramatically or overperform in the wrong direction entirely. Her subconscious is not evaluating whether your clothes are expensive. Research from Princeton University on first impressions found that perceived socioeconomic status did influence snap judgments, but not in the way most people assume. What mattered was not the cost of the clothing, but the intentionality behind it. A man in a simple, well-fitted black shirt with clean shoes and a watch that suits his wrist communicates something very different from a man in a designer outfit that looks like it was assembled for someone else's approval. The first man signals self-awareness. The second signals performance. And remember what we learned in an earlier script. She can detect the difference between authenticity and performance, not always consciously, but always subconsciously. Her nervous system knows the difference between a man who dressed for himself and a man who dressed for her verdict. Grooming extends beyond clothing. Clean nails. A haircut that suits the shape of your face rather than following a trend. Skin that suggests you care enough about yourself to maintain a basic routine. None of these are vanity. They are signals. Every single one of them communicates the same psychological message. I value myself before I ask you to value me. The fifth element is the most subtle and the most powerful. Microexpressions. Psychologist Dr. Paul Ekman dedicated his career to studying involuntary facial expressions that flash across the human face in less than 1/5 of a second. These expressions are nearly impossible to fake and nearly impossible to suppress. And while most people cannot consciously identify them, the subconscious brain reads them with remarkable accuracy. In the first 5 minutes of meeting you, her brain is scanning your face for microexpressions of anxiety, contempt, disgust, fear, and genuine joy. She does not know she is doing this. She will never tell you she is doing this. But the emotional tone of the entire interaction is being set by these invisible flashes of truth on your face. This is why men who are internally conflicted, men who are smiling on the surface but anxious underneath, create an unsettling feeling in women they meet. The conscious signal says, I am fine. The micro-expressions say, I am falling apart. And when those two channels conflict, her subconscious defaults to the nonverbal channel every single time. You cannot fake your face. You can only fix what is behind it. The sixth and final scanning layer in the first 5 minutes might surprise you. It is how you treat the space around you. She is watching whether you thanked the bartender. She noticed whether you held the door or let it swing shut behind you. She registered whether you stepped aside for someone passing or barreled forward obliviously. She saw whether you put your phone on the table screen up, signaling divided attention, or kept it in your pocket, signaling presence. These peripheral behaviors are not evaluated consciously, but they form what social psychologists call the behavioral halo. If your peripheral behaviors are kind, attentive, and socially aware, a golden halo settles over everything else about you. Your jokes are funnier, your appearance is more attractive, your voice is more appealing. But if your peripheral behaviors reveal carelessness, entitlement, or obliviousness, a shadow falls over even your best qualities. A study published in the British Journal of Psychology found that perceived kindness and social intelligence were the strongest predictors of long-term attraction when evaluated during initial encounters. Not humor, not confidence, not physical appearance, kindness and social intelligence observed through incidental behavior. She was not watching your performance, she was watching your margins, the things you do when you think no one is evaluating you, because those things tell her who you actually are. So let's assemble the complete picture. In the first 5 minutes of meeting you, before a meaningful conversation has even begun, a woman's subconscious has evaluated your posture and how much space you claim without apology, your eye contact and whether it signals confidence or anxiety, your vocal tone and whether it communicates groundedness or nervousness, Your grooming and whether it reflects self-respect or performance, your micro-expressions and whether your surface matches your interior, and your peripheral behavior and whether your character is consistent when you think no one is looking. 6 channels of information processed simultaneously in a matter of seconds, and most men have never given a single thought to any of them. They spend hours planning what to say while ignoring the 6 silent languages that determine whether their words will even be heard. This is not about becoming someone you are not. Every single element on this list points back to the same core requirement. You must become genuinely settled within yourself, not performing confidence, being confident, not rehearsing calm, being calm, not imitating self-respect, possessing it at a level so deep that it radiates outward through every micro-expression, every step, every glance, every breath. The men who master first impressions are not actors. They are not chameleons. They are not social engineers running calculations in real time. They are men who did the slow, quiet work of becoming solid on the inside so that the outside simply reflects what is already true. And when that alignment happens, when the interior matches the exterior, when the micro-expressions confirm the words, when the posture matches the voice, when the grooming matches the behavior, something extraordinary occurs. She does not evaluate you, she feels you. The analysis stops, the scanning stops, the judgment dissolves, and what replaces it is something no technique could ever manufacture: trust at first sight. If this shifted the way you understand those critical first moments, subscribe and stay for the next chapter. We are building something here that goes far beyond surface-level advice. Share this with a man who keeps wondering why his conversations never seem to land. It was never about the conversation. It was about the 3 seconds before it started. I will see you in the next one.